In the Baby Cloud Cardiff. We are based in Wilcox House to the south of Cardiff in Cardiff Bay. I have been lucky enough to be running Baby Cloud for the last 3 years.
Very nice.
Here we are. Well, I just found the onboarding absolutely amazing. I was lucky enough to attend a couple of Baby Cloud classes myself. I was a teacher at the time and I had absolutely fallen out of love with teaching. And then messaged Sarah, and because I thought to myself, my gosh, I would love to do this. What a great career, what a really rewarding job. So messaged Sarah and the rest was history. I came down to Kent, did a few days training here, was able to bring the baby with me and my other half. And I have to say, the training, the onboarding process, everything was everyone and everything was so supportive. It literally is a business in a box. I came here and by the time I left after my 2 or 3 days training we were here for, I could literally run my business. And then a few weeks later, I did my trial sessions. I ran 4 trial sessions in 1 day. And then managed straight away to fill 2 classes from those. So really great, very supportive. Everything that you need, everything that you can imagine is given to you by Sarah. So I attended classes because there was one girl before me who started her franchise, but unfortunately she became unwell. She got pregnant and she had horrific morning sickness and she already had a baby. So she was going to have 2 under 2, so she decided it wasn't for her anymore. So she was a really early on pilot franchise. So I attended her classes, not that many actually, just for a few months. And I remember the very first class, walking out of there and going home and saying to my other half, oh my God, I would just love to do that. And then when I found out she was ill and she was like, I can't do Baby Cloud anymore. That's when I thought, right, well, I better contact the Baby Cloud head office down in Kent. And that's what happened. Sarah and I arranged a call. I had sort of a very relaxed and lovely interview. I wouldn't even call it an interview. Really nice chat. Sarah was great because all the way through, she was just checking in with me to make sure that I wanted this, that I understood what it entailed and so on. And then I did have to do almost like a little audition of Hello Baby with one of Emma's toy dolls at home, which was lots and lots of fun. I had to film myself doing that and send it to Sarah. And then that's where the process really started. And then the rest is history.
Wow.
Well, everything is literally given to you. Sarah went through everything. The best thing, and it was like a little Bible that was given to us, is the Baby Cloud manual. So if you can't find the answer in there, which 99.9% of the time you can find the answer in there, then Sarah is literally an email away, or Libby as well. You can contact them. They're so open and supportive. Everything was provided. And if I had a slight wobble, which there wasn't many of, because I felt really confident just going into classes and delivering those classes after the training I had with Sarah, I knew that she was always at the end of a phone or at the end of an email to support me with whatever I needed. So I never ever felt unsupported. Even though it's my own business, I've always felt that she's got my back. She's there for me at all times, anytime I need her. And like I said, most of the things are in that manual. They are in that Baby Cloud manual. You've just got to search for it and it's there. It must have taken her forever to write, but it is absolutely fantastic. And the lesson plans are so concise. Everything that you need to deliver is in that lesson plan for you, whether it's health and safety, whether it's scientific facts about how we're helping the baby's development in that session, in that particular activity. It's all there. So I really felt, not only was I starting my own business, but I've really learned a lot on the way as well about baby development, and it's made me want to learn more, further my education on things like that. The manual, again, that really supports it. So you can add a little bit more detail in if you want to share with the parents in lesson plans as well. And we also have a video of Sarah doing that class every week. So I sort of look through the lesson plan, watch that video and think, right, okay, I do understand it. So not only are you reading that lesson plan, you get to see it live as well. And that is just a game changer. It really helps. You know exactly what you're delivering because you've watched it through a few times yourself if you want to. Further, as my journey has gone on, I used to watch them over and over again, but now obviously I've delivered them 3-4 times. So it's great then just to have a quick recap of that video, and your confidence does then build in time. She's like, oh, I remember that one, I know what I'm doing there. So really helpful. So you've got the manual, you've got your lesson plans, and the videos are just I just don't think there's I would know of any other job, even when I was a teacher, you'd create your own lesson plans and you didn't sort of have anything. You'd have a very, very basic scheme of work to follow, but this is all there for you. So you don't ever have to look for it yourself. Yeah, that's another amazing thing that head office supply for you is all of the photographs, the videos, the text, anything that you need. So when we upload our marketing materials, on social media and so on, that is provided for you. But the other great thing about that is that we're also encouraged to then create our own. So every week, at the end of the week, any photos or videos I've managed to take in class, I put together in a reel to show what we've done that week in classes and get the word out there a little bit. But then we've got the backup from head office for all of the other marketing materials that we need. Everything has already been designed and made for you. Wording has been made to go with it as well. Obviously then you just change it for your region, which is fantastic as well. So having all of that there has just made it so much easier, because not having any marketing training, it was a little bit daunting to start with, and I've learned so many things. I would never have had a clue how to schedule posts, and now I take maybe an hour out of my month to schedule posts for the rest of the month that go out most days of the week, at least 5 or 6 times a week. We have a post. It might be about baby's development, it might be a supportive post for mums, or like a quote perhaps, things like that, and it's all there for you. So you've literally just got to upload it. I think it would have been a lot more difficult to step in and start a business with having none of that and having to create all that content yourself, which was one of the things when I didn't realise when I first looked into it. I thought, oh God, I really need to get tech savvy now. I really need to know how to do Instagram, how to do Facebook, and so on. And as my journey has gone on, head office have helped me a little bit with things like TikTok and, should we have a look at this? How does this work? And it was really furthered my sort of education and, what I can do on social media as well. But obviously having that bank of materials there is just brilliant, because I do think starting out a business, you've got lots of other things on your mind, the prepping of classes, the making of your parachutes and so on, which is I actually found really enjoyable. But then to then think of creating content would have just been a nightmare. So I'm just so grateful to head office for having all that there and accessible on SharePoint for us to just dip in and out of and use as and when we need to. Yes, I mean, there have been sort of little wobbles along the way, which is going to be natural in any business that you're starting yourselves. And I've always found that Sarah is there. If it's just a quick text at the start of class, something's not working, she is there with an idea to help you straight away. Okay, swap it for this, try it this way. And when I first started, that was really, really helpful. The support and the care provided, it was so lovely. As the business has then grown, I've started to learn, if I was Sarah, I know she'd probably say, well, do that instead. So you do then get into your own rhythm of things. For example, if you're blowing up balloons and your pump breaks, okay, it's a nightmare, but it's not the end of the world. And something that Sarah has taught me along the way with that is don't have a meltdown. It's going to be okay. Try this instead. So to have that support is amazing, and the support of the other franchisees as well. There's a WhatsApp group for us all that we're all in, so you can literally pop that little message in, as you're setting up your class, and somebody will get back to you with an idea. So we're there as a little team as well to help each other along the way.
Very nice.
So my average day is, I've got my own permanent venue, which means that all my stuff is already there, which I'm really, really grateful for. So I get up in the morning. I am actually now able to get my little girl ready for school and take her to school. With my older children, when I was teaching, I was unable to do that. They had to go to breakfast clubs, after school clubs, so I missed out on a lot of that. Now I get to drop Emma to school every day, and then I head on into work, and a Tuesday and a Wednesday run 3 classes, and a Thursday and a Friday run 2 classes each of those days. So do those classes. On a Friday afternoon then, when I finish, I've got a few hours to kill between picking Emma up, so I'm able to set up for the next week. So I don't have to do as much, much work at home, which is great. But the best thing about it is, obviously I enjoy what I do, but I'm able to be back there to pick Emma up from the school run as well, which It's just totally changed my life because I'd never been through that with the boys. I never met any other mums at the school gate and things like that because I just wasn't there. I missed a lot of school shows, Christmas concerts and things like that because they wouldn't give me the time off as a teacher. But now I finish early enough that I know I'm always able to get to them. So it's been a complete game changer since I've had Emma to be able to be involved in her life a little bit more. I really feel that having started this business has had such a positive effect on my not just my life, a massive effect on my life and my work-life balance, and my family's life as well. It's so nice to have so much more time at home. And then to go into work and do a job that you really enjoy as well, rather than dreading getting up in the morning.
Oh, that's amazing.
I do class some of these mums that I have met as friends now. Because I'm the only franchise in Wales, they all sort of travel around from different areas. So there are a few mums that do live by me. And word of mouth has sort of spread. So it's lovely to see them outside of classes as well and be able to have a really nice chat with these people and then watch their children grow up. I've got mums who've been with me with their first babies who are now back with their second babies as well, and that's just like a huge achievement that they're coming back and going through it all again. So yeah, I love that. Yeah, I have. There's quite a few. It's a close friend of mine actually, and she had a baby. So obviously she came to classes. And she's just my biggest advocate for telling everyone about the classes for me. And obviously I do see her socially a lot as well. But what it has just amazed me that I can be sat in a cafe with my family and these parents will come over and sit on the table and like, hiya, look, it's Lynsey from Baby Cloud. And it's just so lovely to build that bond with families. And like I said, watch their children grow and then have them return with second babies. You do really feel like you've made a friend there and you get to know them and then you ask about their older children and how was that house move or whatever. All of those things come naturally, and I think that's just what's great for parents as well, come into that. It's just feeling like they go into a room full of friends rather than that space where you don't know anyone, you know? Yeah, definitely, because obviously we set our own working hours, so we can do classes as and when we want. And then so you could take holidays as and when you want as well, which is fantastic. So you can, plan. I like to sort of plan my year or at least 6 months ahead and think, right, okay, so that term is going to be that many weeks long. And then I get to think, right, and I'll have half term off with the kids, or I'll have Easter off with the kids, 2 weeks off at Christmas, all of those things. The summer holidays, we do run some summer specials, but I get, those holidays that my kids are off school, I get to have that as well, which is amazing. And then if I did decide, actually, we want to take a week out of term time to go on holiday, in term time to go on holiday, I can do that because I can plan that into the way my terms run. And being in Cardiff, whereas everyone else is based here, my school terms often run differently to here, but that's the flexibility that I have. I don't have to run the exact same things as head office, or any of the other franchises, because I'm able to say, well, actually, you guys are running an extra week there, my term is a week shorter, so this is the way I'm going to run it. And you get that full support then from Sarah and Libby to say, oh yeah, I can see that. Okay, no worries. Yeah, great. You do that one there. And that's how we work it out. And it really, really does help. And like I said, just being able to set your working hours. I'm talking about holidays there, but even working hours, since I've been doing 4 days a week, I thought, well, definitely at least a Friday. I only want to run 2 classes because I really want a nice Friday, early finish on a Friday. And it's just such a great feeling to be able to do that and not have to check with somebody or, or like when I was teaching, sometimes there'd be meetings and so on, or something would happen during the day and you've got to stay behind and things like that. That's the joy of running this business is that it is that flexible. You can run as many classes or as little classes as you want, but I sort of got the bug for it. So when I started with 1 day of 2 classes, then I was like, and they started to sell out. Then I'm going to run 3 classes on one. I might run another day, and that's sort of where it snowballed. But I love it, so I don't mind. I love getting up and going to work in the day. Very positive feedback. I just love the reviews that I get at the end of every term. And I'm so grateful. They're so kind. But I think the biggest thing when you sort of know you're doing a good job is the repeat custom. So parents coming back with their second babies or third babies to repeat Baby Cloud again. So that really means a lot, and it's lovely to catch up with them when they come back with their next babies. But also the sort of word of mouth. When parents book on, you get to see how they've heard about you, and it's always a friend who comes, those sorts of things that really makes you think, oh, they must really, really enjoy it. I do have mums that sit there and say, oh, we go to many classes, but Baby Cloud is by far the best. I know, like, they come to the Thursday class and it's Thursday's the best day of the week. So I really like, you know, that I get that feedback, and the wonderful cards and gifts that I get at the end of term as well always makes me smile. But I think you really know you're doing a good job when you're having to add extra classes, because they're filling up and they're filling up and they're filling up. And at the moment, this term, I've got 117 babies a week. So, yeah, so it's nice to know that those families are enjoying it, but are spreading the word as well. And we've just got more and more babies signing up all the time. So yeah, I would say that's my number one. And then secondly, social media. So people, you know, scrolling through, finding us on Instagram or Facebook, so then they get to experience what other parents have experienced, because at the end of classes, you get parents that share photos or videos they've taken, which we then, with their permission, repost then onto Instagram and Facebook. And I think that's testament. So look, we had a lovely day at Facebook, at Baby Cloud today. This is what we did, or this week was, I don't know, Baby Ibiza week, things like that. And they're sharing that, so their friends are seeing that. And I think if they had gone to a class that they weren't particularly enjoying it, but it was just getting out of the house, they wouldn't share as much as they do. So I think that really goes to show how much the brand works, and how much people really do enjoy the classes, and how they are different to other baby classes as well. Yeah, so what we try to encourage in our classes and outside of our classes is mums getting together, talking to each other. We really try to encourage mums to come in and speak to the person next to them. There's nothing worse as a mum, and obviously I've been through it 3 times, when you walk into a room and nobody speaks to you, and you're there to try and enjoy yourself, but you've just got that feeling of, it's almost like a subconscious, you know that everyone else is talking to each other and that sort of thing. We try to encourage people to talk to each other. I think we give them the space where they can do that. Our motto is no mum left behind, because we are inclusive. Everyone together, let's do this together. And I think what is amazing about our classes is the activities we do, and I've seen it happen with people who've never met before, and they turn, they go, oh my God, did you see that? Wasn't that fantastic? And that's where those conversations start. I'm very, very lucky in my venue, there's a cafe on site, and the comments that they say is, oh my goodness, you are keeping this place afloat, because it's full of Baby Cloud mums after class. They've even gone and had to buy more high chairs and things like that. And I sort of pass, and sometimes I've finished my classes, I've packed away, and I'm leaving for the day, and I pass that cafe and I can't believe they're all still sat there. Sometimes, you know, you've got mums from the first class who are still sat there an hour and a half later, and their mums from the second class have then joined them. And an example was this week, I had some mums in my younger baby classes, and they said to me, oh, we've booked on for next term, we're graduating up to the older babies class, but it's okay because we know the mums in there, because we've seen them in the cafe afterwards. And so they've already started building friendships with mums. So it's just a whole Baby Cloud community. It doesn't really matter what class you are in. So I think that's just lovely. And yeah, it's definitely no mum left behind.
Nice. Yeah, sweet.
What absolutely amazes me is how friendships are formed. There's one example of a mum, she's actually back with me now with her second baby. But when she first came to Baby Cloud, she came along and I found her crying outside. She was very, very upset. And I was like, are you okay? You know, is there anything I can do to help? She said, I'm just so nervous to come into the class. So I said, come on in with me. There were a couple of mums there anyway. We sat down, gave her a kit. I gave her a lovely chat. You know, we talked about Baby Cloud, what to expect from the classes and all of that. So I could see that her nerves had settled, which was lovely. So the class started and we carried on, and she came back the next week and she looked like she was enjoying it. And then I noticed that she started to speak to some people and they were chatting and so on. And it just seemed lovely. And then her baby graduated, because, you know, babies grow up, sadly, and that's the worst part of the job, is when the babies have to leave. And a few months later, I was scrolling through Instagram, and obviously she follows Baby Cloud and I follow her, and she was on a girls' weekend in Marbella with the mum she'd met in Baby Cloud, and there was a group of them all together, and 2 of them were pregnant again, and now all 3 of them out of the group, the others haven't had babies again, but the 3 of them that were pregnant from the group, including the lady I was just talking about, are all back in Baby Cloud with their second babies now. So I was just like, that's their friendships. And I see it on Instagram, they're out walking together, their husbands have now met. And all of these things, those babies are gonna grow up together. And that's just one of the key moments, I think, for me over the last 3 years. When I saw that happen, I just thought, my goodness, that girl that was crying and nervous that first day is now sat on a beach in Marbella with women she met in this class.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, it was. I was really emotional. Well, it's one of the things that drew me to Baby Cloud in those classes. I just loved the ethos of it. I loved the ideas behind everything. I loved that I was learning about my baby's development. But really benefiting me as well as the baby. And I can see that happens in my classes. I absolutely love the ethos of Baby Cloud itself. Our No Mum Left Behind, you know, all of these things, just the way it all comes together really does make a powerful, powerful business that provides joy to people. I absolutely live and breathe it. I really do. I've got signs on my car. My phone, I've got, you know, it's Baby Cloud everything, because I believe in it so much. I just want everyone to experience it. I think it's so, so powerful what we offer. And I'm gonna get a bit emotional. The feedback that we get from parents just goes to prove that. And the fact that the whole franchise is building and building and building just goes to show what an amazing idea it is, what an amazing team head office are to support us in that, and to keep pushing it forwards. I think the main thing in running the business is the relationship that you have with those parents, how you make them feel, how you welcome them to class. People will come back if they feel comfortable, if they feel accepted, if they feel they're walking into a friend in the front of that class, and that they're welcomed. Those relationships, the relationships that we as class leaders build with those parents is the absolute key. I think the best thing is just going into a room, doing what you do, that you love doing, and just seeing the pure enjoyment and joy coming from the parents and the baby. Sometimes more the parents, you can just see that they're really enjoying that environment and seeing their babies thrive. That is absolutely the main thing. My biggest achievement, when I started out, I was going from venue to venue. 2 days I started, I do a Tuesday and a Wednesday in one place, and then I go to another place and do a Wednesday. My biggest achievement for me was when I'd started to build the business enough that I thought, right, I need to add extra classes on here. What's the best way to do it? Because demand, you know, there's a lot of demand for it now. So that's when I thought, well, actually, now the business is really thriving, a permanent venue would be the next step. And that's what I did. I found my permanent venue. So my own Baby Cloud hub that parents come to for their classes. And what that's given me is the freedom to be able to add the extra classes that were needed through demand. And that demand has been created by that word of mouth that parents who were already coming, you know, have done. And what was brilliant when I started that permanent venue is that they all came with me. I've got parents that travel 50 minutes to an hour to come to classes. Even though the venue I did have on their day, which was a Tuesday, was closer to them, they're now happy to travel to me down in Cardiff Bay. So I do think that says it all. That's definitely my biggest achievement, is that I've managed to create a little bit of a following who have followed me to the permanent venue and continue coming, and many of them with their second babies as well. I think I'm very lucky to be in the position to have a permanent venue, and what we offer is very niche. So the setup of everything when you're moving from venue to venue is a big part of it, which I was fine doing, absolutely fine in doing. But what I find now is everything is there already. I can spend some time setting up, and I've been able to add on the extra classes that were needed through demand. It definitely has obviously moved the business up a notch, because now I can add those extra classes, whereas when I was travelling, even though it was still a great business to have, I could still drop Emma off and still pick Emma up, still have a Monday off a week, and then a Friday afternoon and a Thursday afternoon, and those sorts of things. It allowed me that little bit of extra time, so I can add on that third and fourth class in the time that I've got during a working day. For me, is obviously seeing the business continue, maintaining, the sort of growth path that it is on. But what I would really like to do is work a little bit more closely with Sarah with head office things, which I know she's really open to, because I'd like to further my learning on how it works being the franchisor, and what sort of things she has to do, and how it all works. So I know that Sarah's, we've had conversations, and she's really supportive of that with all of us, with furthering us. They're our businesses, we own those businesses. We're so lucky to have Sarah there as well. But it is nice. So she's like, well, where do you see yourself going next? What can I do to help that? So yeah, I'd like to sort of maybe help head office out a little bit in the future. I genuinely think that at the moment, even though it was just me and Nikki, and now others have joined, which is fantastic. We are only Kent, and we are only little old me on my own in Cardiff. What I see happening now is let's get it UK wide. Let's spread the word. Let's get Baby Cloud out there, because there is still a massive percentage of the UK that don't know about us. And I think if they did, this could be crazy, because I believe in what we offer over and above everyone else. What we offer is leagues apart, absolutely leagues apart. And I've experienced it as a mum as well before becoming a franchisee. So I do see, let's get more franchisees on board. I cannot wait for some more in Wales. I'm Baby Cloud Cardiff. Let's get Baby Cloud Newport. Let's get Baby Cloud Swansea. Let's get Baby Cloud Monmouth. And spread it out, because there are parents out there who don't have access to the classes that we offer. There's nothing like this in their area. And I'd love to sort of work with Sarah on that, and let's spread it. Let's spread the joy. Absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I think there are so many people out there. They may enjoy their jobs, but it might not give them the work-life balance that they want. This does. It absolutely does. It has totally changed my life, my family's life. My mental health has improved. My work-life balance. Being a mum, with Emma now, my third child, the experiences that I'm offering her and having with her, she will never know, like my boys did, that, or you go to breakfast club, or you go to after school club, mummy will be home after work, all those sorts of things. I'm so lucky now that I've found this. And like I said, it has absolutely changed my life. Totally. It's flipped it upside down, and I don't remember the last time I was this happy when I was in my old career. It was much more stressful, and you'd think starting your own business, running your own business would be stressful. Nothing like it was when I was teaching. You are your own boss, you set your own hours, and you're doing something you love. You're delivering those joyous moments to parents. You are having a hug at the end of a class. Oh, that was so lovely, Lynsey. Thank you so, so much. Those sorts of things just make you think, God, this is so worthwhile. I love doing it. And, I've had other jobs before I started my career as a teacher, and none of them, I got that, none of them. And I'd love to meet somebody who would say, well, actually, my job does offer that, because I wouldn't believe them unless they're a Baby Cloud franchisee. Empowering. Really made me realise that I can do this. I can run my own business. I couldn't, take me back 5 years. I would never, ever have thought I'd be where I am now. Challenging, but in a good way. What I love about it is I enjoy doing it. I enjoy sitting down and going over the lesson plan. I enjoy uploading the social media posts and things like that. I enjoy responding to parents who have sent me messages in the middle of the night on Instagram, you know. I enjoy all of those things. So although it can be challenging and, you know, planning, the key is planning, it's a good challenge rather than a bad challenge where you think, oh God, I don't want to do that. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And the last one would have to be joyous. Every day is full of joy. I mean, what you're working with babies is fantastic. For me, and it's a strange one, it's when bookings come through and then I think, I know that name. Oh my gosh, they've had another baby and they're coming back. So it's them, you know, you see that and you think, oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. How exciting. They're coming back. They loved it so much the first time, they're coming back. And then just seeing those friendships thrive between the mums. Like I mentioned earlier, the story of the mum who was crying before coming into class because she was so nervous, and then a year later sat on a beach in Marbella with the Baby Cloud mums. They'd all gone on a girls' holiday together. I was just like, oh, that's it. That's what it's all about. And then having them back with their second babies as well. Those are the moments that just stand out for me.